welcome to another video from our RD350 series of videos, and today's topic is intake and air filter, and I am checking this. So this one is done. So we have many videos planned. So yeah, this one is being taken care of right now. Gautam bhai, please tell us how is the intake system. Of course, the air filter box as well. Unique okay, I've already spilled the beans, but then of course you elaborate on it. How is it unique to RRD?
Okay, so there are two functions of air filter box. First is to filter the air.
Yes.
Second is part of the calibration of the fueling of the bike.
Fueling of the bike.
So most of the time people talk about jets and the main jet, which is like it only works like at a full throttle where you won't be even riding. So people straight away go and change the main jet.
Yes, bigger the number. Oh, our RDs became more powerful. More powerful.
So when the Indian bike was developed, part of the calibration where we needed the bike to run little lean was to de-restrict
because of fuel efficiency concerns.
Unrestrict the air filter box. So as you unrestrict the air filter box, you reduce the vacuum load on the carburetor, which means overall fuel profile of the carburetor changes. Okay, so it's not only the internal components of the carburetor and carburetor itself, VM28, VM26 or 32 depending on the throat size. The air filter box assembly has a big role to play on the fuel calibration. When we say calibration in automotive term, it means that how you tune the whole thing for optimum performance and fuel efficiency that you want. So there were three design levels on Indian RD350. Initial, very early bikes had carryover filter boxes, but it had been having the 350A paper filter, not the 350B. 350B had baffles, the steel tubes inside the filter, which needed a different calibration.
We're talking about the 521, the real 350B.
Correct.
Yes.
So initial bikes were launched with very early level filter box and
from the A.
From the A.
Yeah.
And you could see in some of your bikes you will have tiny holes, tiny plain holes. So that was actually tool access for the oil tank. So that in service, if you want to, should you need to remove the oil tank, you don't have to remove the air filter box. You just go through the air filter box, of course removing the element, and you undo the oil tank. But Yamaha used those holes for calibration, so they needed to make it bigger. So when we got HD, we had larger holes with reinforcement around it so that it doesn't vibrate because you're sucking in air through it.
Yes.
So to lead the bike. So HD, the proper HD air filter box had two large holes compared to the US ones. US ones had a plug. By the way, those holes in actual, if you really want to make a 350A or a 350B, this for the sake of argument, you should not leave those holes open. It had to be plugged. Okay. So it had rubber bunks or plastic bunks. So US RD350A box had no holes. Indian RD350 HD had two large holes. Indian RD350.
Okay, I am sorry to interrupt. Gautam bhai, so you say that the RD350A, it had holes, but they had plugs.
Yeah, the function was to undo the oil tank.
So basically, you would the holes would be covered by the plugs when your bike is running, and you would just like you would do in any with every thing that you're repairing, you would open something and then close once you're done.
Yes.
So you would take off those plugs.
Yes.
Okay, and take off the air filter off, of course. Take off the air filter, of course, as well. Then get your 2T oil tank removed. Okay, and then of course you install it back. Put the plugs back, and then you ride off.
Yeah. So that function remains the same. Even on Indian HD, you can go through that hole, but those holes are larger and not supposed to have bunks in them.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
And then came the LT where we needed, further ease on the carburetor suction. So we wanted to do least amount of changes on the carburetor, hence the complexity of parts. So Escorts and Yamaha added two more holes. So you have three revisions: without holes, 2 holes, and 4 holes. And whilst at it, the air filter box lid is also dedicated for India. So the opening is recessed on the Indian RD350. It's not. It doesn't go till the very end as
All
you
right,
see
all
on
right, all
the
right.
US specs.
Uh-huh,
Right?
uh-huh.
So and some of you might be tempted to use the wire mesh filter on RD350, and some claim that it had been given as an option on RD350. RD350 performs the best. Part of the whole fueling system is the paper filter, and no leakages, by the way. Throwing in a paper filter from a distance is not doing any favors to your engine, because it's a two-stroke 350cc. Every rotation of a crankshaft, you're sucking in lot of air. So your air paper filter should be snug fit. If it has got holes and passages from the side, which generally most of the time does, especially with the aftermarket loosely produced air filters, you will be doing a lot of damage to your, especially because that air travels through the crank, through the carburetor, like four-stroke, where it enters from a valve, and then
True.
without damaging other parts, you will be damaging the whole engine. That is the failure mode. So yeah, so basically that is what
Lovely. Gautam bhai, just again going back to the holes. Okay, no pun intended, guys. We're talking about the air filter holes. So the first one, the first filter that the imported filter box, it did have holes, but it had the plugs as well.
No, not for India, because HT always needed that hole for reducing the.
So essentially, it was the same filter box. The holes were the plugs were removed.
Yes.
So those were, so you can say that okay. So those holes were small. Later on, the HT box had bigger holes.
Yes, bigger holes. So the bike was launched with the plug removed, the carryover air filter box from A with the plug removed, and then the air filter box was localized with the larger holes.
My question. Those bikes which had that filter box, aren't they running a bit richer?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
Yes,
Definitely
yes,
they
yes.
will. But it's still within the operating band. They won't fail the homologation requirements back then if they exist.
All right.
So
this was
very marginal.
All right.
But if you bung them, if you plug them, obviously then that will make significant difference to be noticeable.
All right.
So
Makes sense.
that's a good news. Many of you must be hearing and thinking about that.
Yes.
I could do with putting a filter box on my HT.
I remember, Gautam bhai. In fact, just to let you know, this was way back in 2020. This was like okay. This is something that we discussed 2 years ago. Okay, and Gautam bhai had me checking the Gautam bhai had me open up my RD's seats, and he asked me that, what, Shiraz bhai, check your air filter box of both the bikes. And so that's actually where we started, discussing that we need to now put this information out in the public domain. We need to educate the people. I mean, I've had, both my RDs for almost 2 decades now, and, until 2 years ago, I did not know about these nuances, and thanks to Gautam bhai, I now know. And that was when we decided that we'll be putting this out in the public domain. And not all heroes wear capes. Some ride RD350s and some do a lot of research on them. All right, so Gautam bhai, thank you so much, and I'm sure this would again enrich the knowledge of the RD enthusiasts who are watching this, and of course even the masses who want to know about the RD350, even they would know these nuances, and of course it has technical implications as well. So I'm sure this would be helpful at every level, and thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below, and I'll pester Gautam bhai to answer each and every one of them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.